If you sat for the CSAT in 2026, you did not just walk out of an exam hall. You walked out of a psychological trap. For years, the conventional wisdom for CSAT preparation was simple: master the shortcuts, memorize the formulas, practice 5,000 problems. But when you open the 2026 CSAT paper, you realized that the conventional wisdom had become a liability. The questions were not just harder, they were fundamentally different in design. I've spent the last 14 years living inside the UPSC ecosystem as an aspirant, a student, a mentor, and now as a founder. I've seen the evolution of this paper from a test of arithmetic speed to a test of analytical architecture. In 2026, the students who failed were the ones who treated the paper like a mathematics test. They spent their time calculating, multiplying, and searching for memorized shortcuts. They ran out of time. They made silly errors. They missed the forest for the trees. The students who cleared were not necessarily the fastest calculators. They were fastest classifiers. The students who cleared were not necessarily the fastest calculators, the ones who treated this paper like a system analysis. The ones who treated this paper like a systems analysis did not panic. They saw something others did not. They did not see 80 individual questions. They saw a handful of repeating underlying systems. Today, we are stripping away the surface level complexity of the 2026 CSAT. Today, we are not going to do a routine answer key discussion. We are not going to do a routine answer key discussion. We are going to use the questions to expose the underlying architectures. We are going to deconstruct the four master architectures that powered the entire quantitative section of the UPSC CSAT paper. If you want to understand how the UPSC thinks, and more importantly, how you need to think to stay ahead of their evolving pattern, stay with me. You are starting right now the quantitative architectures of CSAT, the four quantitative architectures of CSAT. Before we discuss individual questions, let us understand something fundamental. Most aspirants walked into the exam hall believing they would face dozens of separate quantitative aptitude problems. That is not what UPSC designed. Then what UPSC actually tested? UPSC actually tested were a small number of recurring quantitative architectures. Different questions, same underlying systems. UPSC does not repeat questions, but UPSC repeats systems. Today, we will decode four major quantitative architectures that dominated the 2026 CSAT paper. Think of these families as the UPSC examiner's toolkit. Different questions, same underlying system. Those are four quantitative structures. That is family A, number systems. Family B, recalibration. Family C, allocation. Family D, replacement. And family A, that is prime base and number system architectures. We are going to discuss this. From 2026 paper, question number 19 and question number 42 comes under this prime base and number system architectures. At first glance, these appear completely unrelated. These appear completely unrelated. One is an indices problem. The other is a unit digit problem. But structurally, they belong to the same family. Both require number system literacy. Number system literacy. Both require understanding the hidden structure beneath large numbers, not calculation classification. Comes to the question number 19. This is prime base decomposition. Please look at the question number 19, set A paper 2026 CSAT. Most aspirants see 75 power 25, 25 power 32, 32 7 power 75, and immediately begin multiplying mentally. The systems thinker does something different. He decomposes every composite base into its prime architecture, like 352, 3 power 25, 5 power 114, and 2 power 375. Into, he decomposes every composite base into its prime architecture. When comes to the questions like this, we have to do is decomposes the composite base into its prime architecture. So prime factorization tree, 75 power 25 becomes 3 power 25 into 5 power 50. 25 power 32 becomes 5 power 64. 32 power 75 becomes 2 power 375. Now the examiner's intent becomes obvious. Why? Why? Because the problem is no longer about large numbers. It is about matching pairs of 2 and 5 to create powers of 10. So once the structure becomes visible, the answer becomes trivial. So answer will be becomes trivial. So comes to the question number 42. Look at the question number 42. Now look at the question number 42. This is comes under cyclicity systems. Again, most candidates see enormous exponents. Looks intimidating. But UPSC is testing completely different layer of number system literacy. It is testing cyclicity, not 120, not 130. The unit digit of powers repeats in a predictable cycles. This cyclicity test we have discussed in our quantitative aptitude session before 1 month of the examination with the using of PYQ analysis. Once the cyclicity structure is identified, the huge exponent becomes irrelevant. So the answer emerges immediately. So the option will comes to the family as a insight. The examiner was not testing arithmetic here. The examiner was testing whether you could see the hidden architecture beneath large numbers. That is the most important insight here. Architecture recognition is important here rather than arithmetic. Comes to the family B, that is dynamic recalibration systems. What is the dynamic recalibration systems? Let's we discuss with the help of question number 25 and question number 43. Comes to the question number 25. This family tests a completely different cognitive skill. Tracking change, tracking correction, tracking moving parameters. The question number 25 belongs to average recalibration. The average increases, the another correction to reduces the total. The another correction reduces the total. Average increases, reduce the total. Most students attempt direct formulas, but a system thinker tracks the sequence. Step 1 plus 100 marks, average rises by 4. Therefore, total students 25. Comes to the step 2. You understand total students equal to 25, the number of students here. Comes to the step 2, correction introduce a reduction of 25 marks. It will impact on average. So minus 1 plus 4 minus 1, that equal to plus 3. This is the net shift. This is the final shift. This is the average recalibration. Comes to the question number 43, belongs to moving parameters. Those are salary and savings shift. Again, the examiner creates a moving system here, that is salary changes, expenditure changes, and saving changes. Three variables move simultaneously. This type of questions UPSC is asking again and again. A system thinker immediately creates a baseline. This is also we have discussed in the previous year question quant analysis. Standard base. Here the baseline, the salary equal to 100, expenditure is equal to 90, savings equal to 10. Now the changing percentages become easy to track. The answer emerges through structural tracking rather than memorized formulas. Comes to the family insight here is UPSC is increasingly interested in operational adjustments. This is true. They are asking again and again these type of questions. Not static values, not isolated formulas. Moving systems. Then we are moving to the family C, that is capital time allocation architectures. For testing these family, we have taken question number 78 from the CSAT paper 2026, set A. The question appears to be a partnership problem here, but that is only the surface layer. The deeper architecture is resource allocation, capital allocation, time allocation, profit allocation. A system thinker immediately eliminates fractions by creating a clean integer baseline. So the capital is equal to 12, time equal to 12. Now every allocation becomes visible. A is 16, B is 9, C is 60. So the profit ratio is equal to 16 is to 9 is to 60. So the answer 12,000. So what is the family insight here is the examiner is testing allocation logic, not partnership formulas. The partnership formula is only the surface layer. Allocation logic is here the hidden architecture of the particular question. So comes to the family D. That is the final family question family here is constant. That is concentration and replacement systems. Family D. Comes to the question number 79. Many candidates viewed this as a chemistry problem, but it is not. It is a replacement system. What is replacement here? A concentration tracking system. Every replacement cycle reduces, reduces the concentration of chemical A by a fixed proportional factor. It is a replacement system of question, type of question. A concentration tracking system, every replacement cycle reduces the concentration of chemical A by a fixed proportional factor. Successive dilution here. After 3 cycles, 10 into zero point 0.9 whole to the power of 3, the remaining concentration becomes 7.29 liters. The rest belongs to the chemical B, that is 27%. So the answer is 27%. But the family inside here is not chemistry, not memorization, system behavior here. Notice what just happened here. Question number 19 looked different from question number 42. Question number 25 looked different from question number 43. Question number 78 looked different from question number 79. But the underneath the surface, the examiner was repeating the same quantitative architectures. This is the pattern. This is the shift. And that is the pattern and that is the shift. And that is why UPSC does not repeat questions. UPSC repeats systems. For this paper 2026 examination, what we have to understand, what is the 2027 roadmap for students? From content consumption to architecture building. From content consumption to architecture building, that is the 2027 roadmap. So where does this leave you for 2027? If you continue to hoard thousands of random questions, you will replicate the same results. To master the next cycle, you must shift your preparation from volume to structure. The architecture repository. Stop creating notebooks filled with important formulas. Start a system logic. Start a system log. When you encounter a challenging problem, do not just write down the solution. Write down the architecture under the exam, under the particular question. Ask yourselves, is this a replacement system? Is this a cyclicity system? Is this an allocation logic? Deconstruction practice. Spend 80% of your time deconstructing the past year papers and only 20% on new practice sets. Take a random question and strip it of its story. Remove the names, the salary figures, the chemistry context. What is the bare bone mathematical system underneath it? If you can't strip the story away, you don't understand the system yet. Pattern recognition drills. Don't practice question by question. Practice them in family clusters. Solve 5 recalibration problems back to back. This forces your brain to stop looking for the formula and start looking for the pattern of change. Stop trying to memorize the library. Start learning how the architecture builds the rooms. The UPSC is moving toward a test of higher order cognition. They are looking for the candidate who can maintain composure when the surface level complexity increases. Because that candidates knows that complexity is an illusion. So the 2026 paper was a clear signal. The era of the calculator aspirant is over. The era of the system thinker has begun. At Metis IAS, we are obsessed with these architectures. We don't teach you how to chase questions. We teach you how to decode the examiner's mind. If you found this deconstruction valuable, subscribe to our channel. We are currently rolling out the complete 2027 series, where we will be mapping every single CSAT architecture from the last 5 years into a single cohesive framework. The questions will change in 2027, but the architectures, they are already here. See you in the next lesson.